This is the story of the richest but stingiest man in the world, who even washes his own clothes to save money. His grandson gets kidnapped, and the kidnappers demand $70 million from him. Let's see how these kidnappers manage to get money out of this old man. Our story begins in Rome, 1973. Here, we meet a young boy named John, or John Paul Getty III. Suddenly, a car pulls up beside him, and some menacing figures emerge, kidnapping him and speeding away. John is the grandson of J.P. Getty, the richest man on earth. The news of the kidnapping swiftly reaches Getty. However, upon hearing this, Getty shows no reaction whatsoever. He refuses to let his staff see any sign of weakness or that he is affected in any way. He remains utterly calm. The narrative then takes us back to 1948. We see Getty in Saudi Arabia, meeting with a local sheik after purchasing a piece of land. Not long after the purchase, he discovers oil beneath his property. Selling this oil transforms him into one of the richest people in the world. We return to the present. John is being transported by his kidnappers to southern Italy. He is taken to a hideout and locked up. His captors all wear masks to prevent John from identifying them later. The leader of these kidnappers is a man named Dante. As soon as Dante leaves John, he calls John's mother, Gail Harris. When Gail answers, Dante demands a huge sum of money as ransom. Gail replies that she has never had that much money and never will. "Where would I ever get such an amount?" she asks. Dante retorts that he knows she doesn't have the money, but John's grandfather does. "Talk to him," Dante insists. "We need all that money." The story shifts back in time again, focusing on Gail's husband, Paul Getty's son. They have 3 children and live in the same house, but their financial situation is dire and worsening. Gail suggests to Paul that he should ask his father for help. "I know you don't want to take money from him," she says, "but perhaps you could ask him for work." Paul likes this idea and writes a letter to his father. After some time, his father replies, inviting them all to meet him. They gather at a hotel to see Getty. Getty is pleased to see his family. He tells them he wants them all to stay with him, and they agree. Later, they notice Getty has clothes hanging to dry in his room. They are puzzled. Getty explains that the hotel staff wanted $10 to wash his clothes, and he didn't want to pay, so he washed them himself. This reveals just how incredibly stingy Getty is. He dislikes parting with his money for anyone. While they are having lunch outside, Getty tells his son that he recently fired a man and wants to offer Paul that job. From now on, Paul will oversee all the business in Europe. Paul agrees to work for his father. Time passes, and we see John has grown up. He travels to Morocco to meet his father, who manages the European business from there. As soon as John enters their hotel, he sees drugs everywhere, and Paul is asleep, surrounded by them. Since having money, Paul's habits have changed. He no longer gives Getty his time, constantly making excuses. Their relationship is nearly broken. After arriving in Morocco, John also changes, starting to live with his father to enjoy the same lifestyle. When Gail finds out, she becomes furious and goes to Getty. She tells him she wants a divorce from his son and wants him to arrange it as quickly as possible. Getty assumes Gail wants a large sum of money in the divorce settlement, but she clarifies that she doesn't want any money, just the divorce. However, she has 2 conditions. First, Getty must pay for their children's education. Getty agrees. Gail's second condition is that John must be sent back from Morocco immediately. She doesn't want him living with Paul, fearing he will become addicted as well. Getty also agrees to this condition. After a while, John is called back to Morocco. Gail is overjoyed to see her child. Little did she know that her child had been seen by the kidnappers. We return to the present. Getty is contemplating his kidnapped grandson when Gail calls him. But Getty doesn't answer. Gail is enraged. The next day, the media descends upon Getty's doorstep. The news has spread everywhere. They ask him if he won't pay the ransom to save his grandson. Getty replies that while they see one grandson, he has a total of 14 grandsons and granddaughters. If he pays ransom for one, then the kidnappers will abduct all the others and demand money for them too. He cannot do that, Seeing this, Gail is furious. She calls Getty's secretary directly and announces she is coming to see Getty and to not try to stop her. As soon as Getty hears this, he calls his negotiator, Fletcher Chase. Fletcher used to be a CIA agent but now works as a negotiator for Getty. He is in Saudi Arabia. Upon hearing the news, he rushes to Getty's house. As he arrives, he sees Gail sitting outside, talking and waiting for Getty to invite them in. But after a while, Getty only calls Fletcher inside. He doesn't want to speak to Gail. Inside, Getty tells Fletcher the whole story, saying he must save his grandson at any cost, but he doesn't want it to become public that he paid the full ransom. So, it's Fletcher's job to go there, negotiate with the kidnappers, and bring his grandson back for as little money as possible. Getty is adamant that he doesn't want to talk to Gail, so it's Fletcher's responsibility to communicate with her as well. Fletcher agrees. After talking to Getty, Fletcher goes straight to Gail and tells her that now it's her responsibility to save her son. He mentions that he used to be in the CIA. Gail dismisses this, saying it doesn't matter. She states that the kidnappers have asked for $70 million to save her son, and that's what they will have to pay, no matter what Fletcher does. They are not going to release her son for less. Fletcher counters that it's not as simple as she thinks. Does she really believe they will release her son just because they get the money? They are criminals, and there's no guarantee they will keep him alive after receiving the ransom. They could even kill him. That's why she needs someone like him. Gail agrees, and they leave for Rome. Media is everywhere. They try to avoid being seen. Another investigator, named Corvo, arrives and takes them away. Meanwhile, we see Dante talking to John. He gives him a piece of paper and tells him to write a letter to his grandfather, saying that his finger will be cut off soon, followed by other body parts, one by one, and they will start sending them if their demands aren't met soon. John does exactly as Dante instructs. After a while, when Dante comes to John, he realizes he hasn't been wearing a mask around John, nor has he put one on John's face. This means John has seen his face. Dante tells John that now he has to kill him because John has seen his face. John gets scared and pleads that he won't tell anyone, not even Dante's companions. "I don't need to kill you," Dante says after thinking for a moment, calming down. "Just get the money from your grandfather as soon as possible because our patience is wearing thin." On the other hand, we see Fletcher busy with his work. He notices a mark on his car. He immediately goes to the car and sees a man in another car pointing at him. As the other car moves forward, Fletcher starts following it. After a while, he enters a house and meets some people. Fletcher asks them where the kidnapped child is. They reply that a while ago, John contacted them and said they should kidnap him. In return, John would ask his grandfather for a lot of money, and they would share it. But now they think John got someone else to do the job. "We don't have John," they say. Hearing this, Fletcher's mind races. He goes straight to Gail and tells her everything. Gail smiles and says that John used to joke a lot. Maybe he said those things as a joke. But now, Fletcher suspects that Gail is also involved with her son. Otherwise, how could she be so relaxed? He goes straight to Getty and tells him this as well. Getty says he was already suspicious of these people. They are capable of anything for money. "Now we don't need to give a single penny," Getty declares. "Your work ends here. You have done a very good job. Now we just have to stay calm." After a while, John will eventually return home. On the other hand, we see John, whose condition is worsening. Real kidnappers have abducted him. He tells the kidnapper that he needs to go outside to use the restroom. After a while, the man takes him out. After John finishes, as he turns around, the kidnapper realizes that John had lifted his mask. This means John saw his face. The kidnapper becomes angry and points his gun at John, saying, "I have to kill you now. You saw my face." Just then, Dante arrives and asks what happened. The kidnapper explains that John saw his face. Dante also takes out his gun and points it at John. A moment later, a gunshot rings out. Later, Fletcher receives a call at his house. It's Corvo calling. Corvo tells Fletcher that they have found a burnt corpse and it seems to belong to John. They need Fletcher and Gail to come and identify the body. Hearing this, Fletcher takes Gail, and they head towards the police station. On the way, Gail is crying uncontrollably. She blames Fletcher, saying that all this happened because of his doubt towards her and her son, and because Getty thought they were trying to deceive him. "Look," she sobs, "my son died because of you." As soon as they reach the police station, Corvo tells them that the corpse is completely burnt and it will take some time to get the forensic report. When Gail goes to see the corpse, she immediately knows it is not her son. Fletcher also realizes this. Then the forensic report comes back, revealing the identity of the deceased. It's the same kidnapper whose face John had seen. Dante had killed him because he knew John had seen his face. When they find out everything about this man, they discover he was a robber, and his address is also found. They reach his residence with the entire police force. This is the same place where they had initially kept John. The remaining kidnappers try to flee upon seeing the police. Shots are fired, and the police kill all the remaining kidnappers. Gail goes to the room where they had held John. Looking at John's clothes, she recognizes them as her son's. The kidnapper is still alive outside. Everyone asks him where John is. The man says, "We have sent John away." After saying this, he dies. On the other hand, we see another mafia boss named Memolite. To the outside world, he runs a purse factory, but it's a front for all his illegal activities. Dante has come to him to sell John. Memolite is very happy to see John and tells Dante that from now on, he will work for them. Meanwhile, Fletcher reaches Getty. He says that their initial guess was wrong, and John has truly been kidnapped by the goons. He urges Getty to start preparing the ransom money, as if they don't pay soon, the kidnappers could do anything to John. Getty refuses to pay such a large sum. Fletcher expresses his disbelief, saying, "He is your grandson, and you are one of the richest people in the world. What more do you want?" Getty replies that he wants more money and that he doesn't have the full amount they are asking for. He will give money but less. He believes no one's hunger for money ever ends. Hearing these words, Fletcher leaves. So after a while, Dante calls Gail and asks what happened to the money. When Gail doesn't answer, he demands to know why they aren't paying. Fletcher takes the phone and says, "I am Getty's man. I will give you only one offer, $200,000. If you want to release the child now, do it. Otherwise, it's your choice." Hearing this, Dante gets angry and hangs up. Gail, seeing this, becomes furious and starts hitting Fletcher. Fletcher calmly says that this was his tactic. Dante will call back immediately and this time ask for less money. Getty is still unwilling to pay a large sum, so they will have to negotiate. Gail anxiously waits for the phone to ring. That night, Dante calls again. He says that earlier they asked for $70 million, but now the deal is for $60 million. He warns that they have very little time left, and if they don't receive the money soon, they will kill John. Gail is now deep in thought. The next morning, we see John in his captivity. The other kidnappers are celebrating, and John realizes everyone is distracted. Taking advantage of this, he sets fire to the back of the building so he can escape. And that's exactly what happens. He starts running. Dante sees him running but doesn't alert anyone. Instead, he tells everyone about the fire. Everyone starts trying to put it out. While Dante is running, he sees a policeman. He goes straight to the policeman and calls Gail from the police station. He tells her, "I am fine. I have escaped from there, and I am now in a police station." Gail asks which police station he is in, but before John can answer, Memolite arrives and hangs up the phone. This reveals that Memolite has bought off all the police in the area. He takes John again and tells his people that they need to get him out of there. They have held the boy for too long, and now Getty will have to come forward. The next day, they cut off John's ear and send it to a journalist. As soon as the envelope is opened, inside they find a picture of John with his ear severed, and the ear itself is also enclosed. Seeing the cut ear, everyone is horrified. As soon as Fletcher and Gail learn about this, they rush to the office. Upon arriving, they insist that whatever happens, this news must not appear in the newspaper. The editor of the newspaper comes and says that this news could be huge. If they give permission, he will offer them $50,000 to print it. Gail retorts that she doesn't want $50,000. She wants him to print the news and send 1,000 copies to Getty's house. They do as she asks. Getty is deeply disturbed after reading the newspaper. Immediately, a man named Hinge calls Gail and tells her that Mr. Getty has agreed to pay the money. But she must come to his house first as he has some conditions. As soon as Gail arrives at Getty's house, she sees her husband, John's father, who is still under the influence of drugs. Getty states his condition. He will pay the ransom, but as soon as John returns, Paul will get custody of him. Gail doesn't want this, but to save her child, she reluctantly agrees and signs the document. After returning home, a man leaves with the money. They later discover that the money sent is not the full amount. Fletcher had done a remarkable job negotiating the kidnappers down to $4 million, but Getty has only sent $1 million. They then realize the whole scheme. The money Getty pays as ransom will be tax-deductible, providing him with a tax benefit. He has only paid the amount equal to his tax benefit, which is $1 million. In the eyes of the government, he will show the full ransom amount, meaning Getty will greatly profit from this kidnapping. Now Gail is very worried. She says that the kidnappers will be furious. To calm them down, they will have to tell the media that all the money has been received. This might appease them. They give statements to the media. As soon as Getty sees this news, he immediately calls Fletcher to his house and demands to know where the rest of the money came from, since he only provided $1 million. He cruelly suggests that Gail has become a prostitute to get the rest. Hearing this, Fletcher is enraged. He tells Getty that now he understands why he lives alone and has no relatives, because he only loves money and values nothing else. He predicts that Getty will die alone, and no one will mourn his passing. With these harsh words, Fletcher leaves. His words deeply affect Getty for the first time. The next day, Getty's man comes to Fletcher and says that Getty has sent the rest of the money and a letter. Reading the letter, Fletcher realizes that Getty has had a change of heart. He has sent the full amount and has agreed that Gail will retain custody of her children. Fletcher's words have truly impacted Getty. Fletcher immediately calls Dante and asks where to deliver the money. Dante instructs him to tie the cash to a car and drive to the forest. As soon as a stone hits their windshield, they must stop the car. They follow these instructions. Getting out of the car, they see a child who tells them to leave the money there and drive 1 kilometer away to a petrol pump, where they will receive a call. After they leave, all the money reaches Mameliti. He counts the money and tells his men to release John. They take John and leave him in the middle of the forest. As they drive away, Dante tells John not to stay there and to get out of there as soon as possible. As soon as they leave, Gail and Fletcher are informed of John's location. By then, John has already run away. Meanwhile, as Mameliti is leaving, his men inform him that the police have surrounded the area, and even helicopters are approaching. Mameliti angrily orders them to find the child and kill him. On the other hand, Fletcher and Gail reach the spot where John was left, but John has already fled. Fletcher sees the footprints and understands that they indeed left John there. John has run towards the city, and all the kidnappers are also heading there to kill him. Fletcher has also arrived. Then Fletcher's eyes spot John. When he calls John's name, John runs away in fear and collides with the kidnappers. A kidnapper is about to kill him when Dante shoots and kills the kidnapper. Fletcher arrives and puts a gun to Dante's head. Dante tells Fletcher to take the child and get out of there as quickly as possible, otherwise they will kill him. Gail takes her son and leaves. Meanwhile, we see Getty, who is very sad. He is wandering alone in his house. He picks up a photo of his mother and his child and starts missing his entire family. While longing for them, he dies. Time passes. Gail is summoned to Getty Corporation and informed that after Getty's death, all his properties are now in this state, and all the properties will be given to her grandchildren. However, until they turn 18, Gail is responsible for taking care of them. Now Gail will manage the entire corporation. As time passes, Gail arrives with her entire family and moves into the bungalow where Getty used to live. Fletcher is still there. She tells Fletcher that she considers him a part of her family and wants him to stay in the bungalow. Fletcher insists that he is still her servant and wishes to live as a servant, unable to reside in the bungalow. He takes John and goes out for a walk. Gail looks around at all the statues, including one of Getty. Seeing it, she becomes angry. And with this, the film ends. This film was based on a true incident. So, what did you think of this film? Let us know in the comments below. If you want to see or hear more stories like this, do comment. See you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.